What's a fact you know that almost everyone is wrong about?
The myth of Narcissus. Most people think of it as he has fallen in love with himself, missing the distinction and nuance that he falls in love with the image of himself. This is important. If you run into any narcissist, you will notice the image they have of themselves is quite different from who they actually are. Those that can't do, teach is a mockery of a quote by Aristotle. Those that know, do. Those that understand, teach.
And those that can't teach Jim. Picture a hymen. If you're thinking of a sort of sheet or membrane that covers the vagina and is popped by intercourse, you're wrong. It's actually a thin piece of tissue that only partly covers the entrance to your vagina. There are some cases where it does completely cover it. This is known as an imperforate hymen, can cause some not insignificant health issues, and is very rare. It doesn't always hurt when it breaks. It's as likely to be broken by accident long before you have sex as it is to be pristine when you do, and sometimes it just disappears by itself without breaking. Either way, despite the idea that it's some sort of foolproof virginity test, whatever you define virginity as anyway, it's still a pretty vague concept. Leaves a lot to be desired.
Not sure if it's for most people, but the people I've come across had this wrong almost always. Canberra is the capital city of Australia, not Sydney. Porcupines can't throw their quills.
But you can throw a porcupine.
Water isn't actually conducive. It's the impurities in the water that allows it to conduct electricity. Edit, for those that are commenting that it can conduct electricity, albeit not very well, I'm aware. But it conducts so very poorly that it is essentially negligible. So for simplicity's sake, it's easy enough to say it doesn't conduct electricity. The Mayans didn't disappear or go extinct. They still live in Central America and speak at least 24 different Mayan languages. The last Mayan city didn't fall to Spanish conquest until 1697.
Same for Aztecs. Nahuatl is still spoken in Mexico.
Leaning your head back is actually worse for a nosebleed.
I get nosebleeds quite frequently, and whenever I feel one coming on, I just roll up some tissue and clog it into the nostril that's bleeding. It's almost guaranteed to get rid of it in 5 to 10 minutes, but that is just me.
Your hair and nails don't actually keep growing after you die. Your body just loses moisture and fluids, making your body dehydrate and shrink up. This gives the illusion that your fingernails and hair appear longer. Ostriches don't bury their heads in the ground.
It would also take at least 2 people to duck one, regardless of its health.
While serving on an airfield, I remember telling a non-aviation friend that there was a plane coming in about an hour from then. He said that it was impossible because the tower is closed. I explained to him that flights come in all the time when the towers are closed. Even commercial jets are constantly landing without the tower being open. He absolutely blew up, said I didn't know what I was talking about, and that planes would crash all the time if that were the case. How could planes land without a tower? That just makes no sense. I even got my superior officer on the phone the next day to explain it, and he still wouldn't believe it. I had 3 other people under me explain it to him, and he still wouldn't believe it. I told him, dude, it's really simple to prove. The tower hours are posted. Check the last time a flight lands for the night, and I guarantee it will be after that time. He did, it was, and yet he still refused to believe me. The sad fact is, people would probably riot if they found this out because they'd think it was horribly dangerous. But it's been the standard operating procedure for decades now, and no one has even noticed. It hasn't caused a single crash. Believe it or not, it's actually safer to come in after hours because of the reduced traffic. This is not something that needs fixing, it's a very logical move. But I'll bet there are even people reading this that won't believe it. Unless you work in aviation, you probably don't know any of this. That it's a good idea to make furniture out of old pallet wood. No, that stuff gets treated with all kinds of pesticides when shipped overseas, so you don't transfer any bugs or fungi. You don't want the gases emerging from it in your living room. I've even seen baby beds made from that crap. This is really specific, but in most anatomy or biomechanics textbooks, the ankle joint is classified as a second-class lever with the ball of the foot labeled as the fulcrum. This is incorrect, as the system rotates about the ankle joint not the ball of the foot. Therefore it is a first-class lever, not second. This right here is the hill I will die on. Robin Williams didn't kill himself because he was depressed. He killed himself because he had Lewy body dementia, a degenerative brain disease. His autopsy showed that he had one of the worst cases ever seen. His wife has confirmed that he had about 50 symptoms, and depression was one of the least intense. His best friend, who has a name I can't possibly spell, Bobcat Goldthwait, has also confirmed it was depression or substance abuse that caused him to commit suicide. MSG is a natural substance. If you say you're allergic to MSG, you're allergic to tomatoes and cabbage and all kinds of natural food.
MSG is basically if people started calling salt sodium chloride to make it sound like a scary chemical, then started having allergic reactions to it.
After living in Slovakia for 7.5 years, I got beyond frustrated when people would tell me that I would catch a cold from simply being in cold weather, or that air conditioning in the summer makes you sick, or that you treat a cold with antibiotics, or that sitting on cold concrete will give you hemorrhoids. I tried to refute all of this with actual evidence, but it fell upon deaf ears. I loved my time there, but good Lord, the old health superstitions are alive and well. That fun fact, you eat 8 spiders in your sleep each year. If you even think about it a little bit, it makes no sense. A lot of American homes don't have an abundance of spiders, and they usually just tend to their webs or live in areas without a lot of foot traffic. They usually don't even intentionally crawl into someone's bed because it offers no prey, and spiders only view us as part of the landscape because we're so big. Spiders would also most likely be scared of sleeping people because of the vibrations caused by breathing and or snoring. A lot of people don't actually sleep with their mouth open, and if they do, they are probably snoring, which again repels spiders. Also, I know not everyone believes this, but apparently, at my school, it's still being taught that blood is blue until it interacts with oxygen. Blood is never blue, it's just a darker red. The reason veins are blue is because of the way light penetrates your skin. That janitor is a low-class job. I'm a janitor, and let me tell you, we make good money. Amazing benefit. People treat you with so much respect. Comes the holiday, janitor gets a lot of gifts from the people he cleans for. You're like a hero when there is toilet or bathroom trouble. Yeah, we make good money. I make more money than my friend who graduated from university. Not only that, you have good coworkers. Nobody tells you what to do cause you pretty much have a routine.